text me and I'll text you back.
Text me, and I'll text you back.
Text me, then I'll text you back.
You text me, then I'll text you back.
Text me, then I'll text you back.
TikTok, you don't stop.
I will help you make your paper stack.
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now?
205-964-5243. You know. 205-964-5243. You know.
Yeah. We're back. We're back. Flip Man's Daily Live. Wholesaling real estate without using your cash or credit. 8K Fliptainment. If you want your properties comped for free, send them over to comps101.com. Anything else? Want the contract, script, text messaging, probates, just text any of those words to 205-964-5243. You want a CRM to manage your leads, be able to create pipelines for your Bandit Signs, for your cold calling, for your driver for dollars, for your text messaging, direct mail. You want to be able to separate all those different lead generation types. Also, you'll be able to contact your sellers through text messaging, email, phone call that are recorded so you can track and go back and listen to your VAs, yourself, or your partner, or whoever, to see what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you need to correct, if they're even doing it at all, and so on. So the CRM system will do that plus more. Also, you can create a pipeline for your cash buyers. So now you can reach out to them all through ringless voicemail, text messaging, call, however you want to do it. So text CRM to the 205-964-5243. Make sure you like this, share it. We're back in the saddle here to hopefully answer your questions. Today's topic is 3 mistakes newbies should avoid wholesaling houses when they start to pursue wholesaling houses. All right. There's a lot of mistakes people should avoid, but let me just go with these 3. Start with number 1. You see a video of mine or somebody else's, and it sounds like a great idea, and that's the only video you watched. And you start to go out there and look for vacant houses, and then when you get out there, you find the address, and you have no idea what to do next. That's the worst thing you could do, is start to pursue this without putting in a certain amount of time educating yourself on the process. Now, I'm not sure what anyone else offers out there as far as detail, but I give it all away on my YouTube channel and other platforms, but mainly on my YouTube channel. So the worst thing you can do is be undereducated about the process, because the easiest way to succeed at something is starting by simply knowing what to do. You'll go out there, see that one video, go out there and look for a house, and then, whatever, try to half, through it, that, and then you say, well, it doesn't work. No, it works. You just didn't prepare yourself for it to work. All right, the next thing that you could do that would be a mistake is, because you have a cousin, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, maybe even a parent that's a real estate agent / broker, and you find out about wholesaling and you go ask them about it. That's another mistake that you can make, because if you line up 10 realtors, 8 of them have never heard of it before, right? So their automatic response is, oh, you can't do that, it's illegal. No, because they don't know about it, they just assume they're experts, which they're not in most cases. They assume that you can't do it because they don't know about it. No, just say, oh, I don't know, I've never heard of that before. Don't say it's illegal. They don't have any proof that it's illegal. They're just telling you what they think, not what they know or whatever. So that's discouraging to you, because in most cases you're asking them because you are assuming that they are an expert. And in most cases, if you educate yourself on how to wholesale real estate, it's not even getting into all the other methods of putting deals together creatively with no money or whatever, you're going to know more than 90% of real estate agents walking around, period. and they went through a course, paid for it, and all of that. They just learn how to be a real estate agent and really just how to stay legal as an agent. They don't learn anything about what you'll know as far as finding deals, how to negotiate contracts, building the cash buyers, how to market. You learn so much more than what they're taught. They have to go at an additional level beyond a class to even start to learn how to do those things or whatever. So in most cases, right? So the third mistake, we're only gonna do three. The third mistake you can do is don't be one of the individuals that, yeah, you are constantly educating yourself, but you don't ever make a move. Don't confuse activity of educating yourself, going to seminars, paying for courses, as actually doing something, right? No, at some point, you're gonna have to pull the trigger, right? And a lot of times people don't make a move because they don't want to make a mistake, or they feel like it needs to be perfect in order for them to actually make money. That's one of the great things about this entry into real estate is, as a wholesaler, it does not have to be perfect in order for you to get paid. Now, obviously, we want to reduce mistakes as much as possible, but they're going to happen, and you should expect them to happen or whatever. So, and when you make mistakes, one thing mistakes teach you, that's an experience lesson. In most cases, it's probably more valuable than anything that I can teach you because it comes from experience. So there you are, the three of the mistakes that newbies should avoid when trying to start out wholesaling real estate. Did that make sense to you all, young ladies?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, the first question is on Instagram. They said, "Hey, Flip Man," and then this person said, "I've started to talk to a seller today. They want 100K for a house, but I want to bring it down to 90K or 80K. I told them I could have it closed in 30 days. Is that a good deal?"
I have no idea. See, it sounds like that was the first mistake I meant, is that you may have saw a video or two and you went out there and started talking to sellers. You don't even know if it's a good deal or not. That's such a huge part of it, right? Being able to analyze a property. Yeah, they want 100. You say they go down to 90, but if the ARV is 100, 90, 80, 70 won't work in most cases or whatever. So you have to understand what makes a great deal. So you're going to research that. It starts as a simple formula. It's not the end all, but it helps newbies somewhat understand what makes a good deal. You take the ARV, which means after repair value, simply what does a house appraise for in excellent condition, right? You start there, multiply that times 70%. That normally works in most markets, minus the cost of repairs, and then you can subtract your fee. I actually have a calculator on my website, digulator.com, that you can go there, free calculator that you can plug in the numbers, and you'll see if it's a good deal or not. So there you go.
All right, this is also on Instagram.
Did you pick that question because you knew I was going to have that answer, Ken?
No, that was the first question.
You're supposed to say yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Of course, like Shrek. All right, this is also on Instagram. Do you have a YouTube video about how to wholesale rental properties?
Well, I don't think I have a specific video on wholesale and rental properties. Those opportunities will present themselves. They call them turnkey properties. And that means that with the renter in the property, and the condition always plays a role, but with the renter in the property, they're paying an attractive rental amount that you can still wholesale it. So for the buyer, they don't have to do anything but just buy it and start collecting rent in a lot of cases. Sometimes they may still do some repairs or whatever. That's ideally. So it'll just boil down to how attractive the cash flow is on that particular property, whether it's return on investment, cash on cash, however you want they evaluate it. So I don't have a specific video on it, but to just explain it. So yeah, that's real.
All right, I got a bunch on my end that are just saying good morning. Good morning, Flip family. Hey, Mr. Flipman. Hey, ladies. This is from G Brown on YouTube. He said, or they said, do you recommend a course for a newbie starting off?
That's like walking in McDonald's and saying, do you recommend where we can get some French fries? I offer courses, my man. Is that a male? Well, no, male, female, what they call it when you don't know. Anyway, person, human being. I offer courses. I give away everything for free on my YouTube channel, but those videos are not in any certain order, so you really have to dive into them, make great notes, and it's all there. But if you're actually looking for a step-by-step course along with coaching, I do offer that. Just text me on the 205-964-5243. I'll be glad to give you the pricing options because it's not free.
Okay, this one's from Al Wimberly. They said, thanks, Ty, for that info you sent me.
Yes, sir.
All right, this one's from Anye Bledsoe. She said, good afternoon, Flip.
And that's a female.
That's a female. I believe you asked this question already, but I missed the answer once. Once I find my title company, what do I say to them? What's my approach?
Well, Anye, ideally, if you're forced into that, right? Okay, let's do it this way. You want to use the power of networking / the internet / social media / Facebook / my Facebook group and others. So what you'll do is to soften that blow is go to Facebook, to my Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flip Man Facebook group is what it's called, and ask the question, what title companies or what closing attorneys are wholesaler friendly, right? And someone's going to answer, or you can go to Facebook and target wholesaling groups in that particular city where you target the properties that you're trying to wholesale and ask that same question. That's the best way to do it because you just don't want to just Google title companies for whatever city and just start calling. Because a lot of times you don't even know who you're getting on the phone. They may not even know that they do assignments or double closes or whatever because who you get on the phone or whatever. So do it the way I explained. You'll be okay. And plus, you really don't even worry about that in a lot of cases unless you have a seller in the contract, you have a buyer in the contract, and the buyer says, hey, we can use whoever you want to use. I don't know anyone. But if a buyer already has that relationship, then you just pick it back off of that. And then in the future, even if that buyer is not involved in the deal, you can go back to them because they closed the deal with you before. So.
All right, this is the first question on TikTok. Starting off, should I get a dialer or text blast?
Well, they're talking about making cold calling versus what am I trying to say? Versus text messaging. Mm-hmm. So that's just gonna be terrible one day. It's gonna happen. I'm like, cut. No, you need to go. Text me when I'm here. You need to go right in. But cold calling is harder than text messaging for most people, right? So it just depends on now cold calling is cheaper, but more time consuming. So you have to choose what your resources are. So if you're going to do dialing, use batch dialer. Let them know I sent you. If you're going to do text messaging, just text me and just text the word text to the number 205-964-5243. And that video will show you the proper way of doing it to stay legal and FCC compliant.
All right, this is on Instagram. Do you know anything about tax lien sales?
I know some. It's really nothing I pursued in the sense. It's just more of a potential motivated seller for me, that type of list where some people like to acquire or get some form of ownership, not really ownership, I guess interest or control. I'm gonna say control is a better word. Some form of a control of a property that they could possibly even live in if they wanted to, but maybe rent the property out. Sometimes people buy the tax lien, tax certificate for the interest accrued, and if someone decides to redeem the property. So what you do is you want to find out how it works in the states or states that you're targeting, and see what entry point or how you want to be able to profit from those types of properties.
All right, let's knock some of these don't.
If you want to join us live, just text the 205-964-5243. Text the word
Gator.
Gator.
All right.
Gator, like alligator, but gator.
All right, this one's from Busy Diva. She said, "Good afternoon from downtown Houston, Texas." She's on the day job.
That's what you're doing on the day job.
Busy Diva.
Busy Diva. Well, what we doing?
All right.
What are we doing?
I'm not sure how to say this first name.
Just Davis.
Yes, Mr. Davis. He said, "I'm in my first 10 calls and LOL, but I'm still going."
You got 1,000 more to go.
Stay with it.
Woo! That's why you may want to consider text messaging, man. Text to 205-964-5243. Text the word text.
All right. Joseph Griffin said, "How do I find the hottest areas to market in my city?"
Well, Zillow you can use as a point of reference, well, a source, a tool rather, where you can see the activity. What you're looking for is sold activity. So 90 days should be enough, especially in this time, this market right now. And you want to filter out the criteria, so to be houses sold in the last 90 days, and it's just going to pull up everything in that market. You put the name of the city or whatever, it's going to pull up everything. So now you create an Excel spreadsheet by zip code and just see the number of sales per zip code. That's a free way of doing it now, and it may take a little while to do that, but it'll be worth it. So you'll really know where the most activity is going on now. If you have Digulator.com, aka PropStream, then you can do it a lot faster that way. So.
All right, Nicole Vin from Facebook asks, "Can you comp a property for me?" We can't do it live on the air, but you can submit it to comps101.com and they will comp it for you and send the results back. Or you can wait till Thursday when he does the live show at 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, Al Wimberly asks, "How can I avoid from paying those high price earnest money deposits from certain sellers or wholesalers are requesting?"
Well, Al, Mr. Wembley, is that on the seller side of it, it's rare a high earnest money request goes with a motivated seller, meaning you have an actual deal or not. It's so rare, right? And plus, when you fill out a contract, you filling out a contract, sending it over to them with the amount of earnest money you're willing to pay or something close to it. At the end of the day, it can be a deal breaker, right? The other thing is, as far as wholesalers requesting a high earnest money deposit, the way you avoid that, just have a buyer ready to go. And when you reach out to them, then you all can iron out the details. They would be a fool if you got a buyer highly interested, ready to go, and they don't work with you on it. That's easy to get over the wholesalers or whatever. So.
All right, this is on Instagram. They said, "What's up, Flip Man? Where can I find legit VAs and how can I approach them?"
Well, there are a lot of sources out there for VAs. I really can't tell you. Fiverr.com is a source. You're still going to have to screen. A lot of them have experience with real estate, investing and doing marketing or whatever task you want them to do. You just have to train them the way you want it done. Most of them will do what you want them done. You just have to put the time in to train them the way you want it done. And the way that's going to happen, you have to know what you're doing. See, people just want to hire a VA and then they just figure it out. It's not going to work. That's why you have to actually do what you're trying to train someone to do. Like, well, I don't have the time. Well, this might not be for you.
Trying to be a boss, but you're not yet a leader.
You know what I'm saying? This may not be for you. Because it's hard for me when people say they don't have the time. If you haven't heard my 168-hour speech in a week, here it is. There are 168 hours in a week, right? And I'm gonna do some easy numbers here so I can stay on track. So we're gonna assume you have a 40-hour week of job. So, but even if you work 50, Even if you're one of those individuals, you're working 50 hours a week. So we got 50. So we're going to give you 8 hours to sleep a day. Times 7, I think that's 56 if my math is correct. So we're at 106, right? So now we're at 106. So that means we have 62 hours left, right? Even if I go ahead out of 7 days and give you 5 hours a day to do whatever you want to, that's another 35. So that leaves 27 hours to work on your business. 27 hours. So average that out over the course of 7 days, that's almost 4 hours a day. You know, it's just, we do what we want to do in reality. And most people are not that busy or whatever. What I'm saying is just what you decide to spend your time in. There's some situations out there. If I know people say, well, I get it. Okay. But at the end of the day, you have to know what you have to actually succeed in the process, or be a good person that you retain the information. Then you can train someone how you want to do it and haven't actually done a deal. But ideally, you want to be able to go through the process of putting deals together and then add on the VA. Ideally, that's what you want to do. Again, if you're a good person in the organization and you can basically train someone on your process, even though a process really hadn't been created because you didn't put a check in your hand, then do it. I'm just saying, normally you have to go through the process yourself before you can train someone else on how to do it. You know, so again, some people are smarter than I am, but well, not some people, a lot of people are. So.
All right, this is on TikTok. Is Bird Dog a good way to start as a side hustle?
I'm going to always side on doing something. But if you're bird dogging, depending on my definition of a bird dog, you're going to do everything a wholesaler normally does. Find a deal. Find a great deal, negotiate a great deal. The only step you're not taking is putting it under contract. Why? You've done everything, you know, so why limit yourself to $500, $1,000, or $1,500 if you've done everything or whatever? So, but again, if you want that road, that satisfies you, then boom, you know, what's half of zero?
All right, Kirsten.
Zero, if y'all didn't know that.
Kirsten Morton from Facebook, she said, hey, Flip Man, I'm struggling with comps for some reason. I watched your video, 3 ways to calculate the ARV. Do you still recommend taking the average estimate from Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, etc., or should I just get Dealator/PropStream? Thanks.
Well, if you could afford the app and the software, then most definitely. That method I've shown people is more of a free way of doing it. I have a more updated video with my man Jamil from Keegley or whatever, that he goes into Zillow and show you how to use that and some of the basic rules of comping. And then if you watch any of our videos from Comps 101 episodes, I think we've done 29 of them. You can go back and watch those. That'll go a long way with you understanding how to comp or whatever. So, now the simple way again is you have Zillow. It can be a little challenging sometimes, but if you can afford Dealator, aka PropStream, or Batch Leads, or either one of them, so yeah, that's gonna allow you to really hone in on those numbers. So.
All right. Let's see. Daquan McMillan from YouTube said, what renovation estimate would you throw in the calculator if the seller doesn't want to disclose if the house needs repairs?
Well, you can actually, number one, ask the seller, is someone living in the house or not, and then whether they are or not, but you ask them, if someone living there, we're going to assume it's livable, right? Mm-hmm. So that answers that question. But if it's vacant, you ask the seller, you think the house is livable? You know, and not that they're going to always be totally transparent or honest with you or whatever, but ideally to calculate the repair, you're not going to ask the seller. They don't know. You know, we can ask them the condition of the property or whatever, and sometimes maybe they've already had an estimate or something, but you still don't go by that or whatever. So if the house is livable, simple way of doing it, not set in stone, but generalization here. Simple way of doing it, the house is livable, multiply the square footage times $25, right? If the house is not livable, multiply the square footage times $40.
Right.
And round up to the nearest 5. So if it says $31,272, just round up to $35,000.
All right. This is from Crisis Con. Okay. They said the only calls I get from my Bandit Signs are other wholesalers or people playing on my phone. What should I do?
Well, phew. I'm going to all again side on doing something. I would love to see what your signs say, but obviously people are seeing them if they're calling or whatever. I would continue to do more because they are being seen. Obviously, if people are calling, even though they're not calling you for what you want them to call for, I would like to know how many do you have out, how many have you put out, and how many are still up is a better way of saying it. So, because that's very important. As far as the number out, but I will continue to put out more because they are working because people are calling you. That's the same number or different numbers? Okay.
All right, Samuel from YouTube asks, when is it a good time to invest into my first rental? And he also asks, would you rather own 20 rental properties or one property with 20 doors?
One property with 20 doors. To answer, in the famous words of Fred G. Sanford, allow me to answer your second question first. I would rather have one property with 20 doors than the other, right? Because I can manage everything on one location. Now, on the flip side of that, some people say, one fire could take out the whole building, so take out your whole portfolio. But that's what the insurance for. It might be a good thing or whatever. So, say, when should you start your first rental property? Well, that's going to depend on resources. Now, you could create a rental situation through owner financing starting right now, with no money in reality. So it really is just how fast you want to do it, because you'll get opportunity. Even if your primary goal is to wholesale, you'll get opportunities where someone will owner finance a property to you with very little to no money down. And then at that point, you can rent out to do whatever you want with it or whatever. So it's only going to be up to you on how fast you want to start that process, because those opportunities will present themselves if you do the fair amount of marketing you need to do to be a successful wholesaler at the same time. So.
All right, this is on TikTok. What's the fastest way to find your first good deal to wholesale?
The fastest way to find your first good deal to wholesale? Well, probably the fastest way is to build you a quick buyer's list. I'm gonna do a video on a buyer's list here on how to use regulated prop stream or whatever, but might do it today, no later than tomorrow, I think. Probably the fastest way is to probably get you 3 to 5 good, strong buyers, and then just wholesale other wholesalers' properties in those areas that they want. That would probably be the fastest way, and it's free. So.
All right. Do this process work also with hotels and motels?
Yeah, it can. Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
If you got one, if it's worth $5 million, we can get it for $2 million. We'll split $1 million within probably 30 to 45 days. So, one of those deals that we can make it happen.
All right.
Quickly.
This is on Instagram. Best place for lead lists. I'm in New York City. Market is crazy here. What is a good market to look into virtual?
Anywhere really that the people and you have boots on the ground, any decent sized city, but don't sleep on that market there, guys. It may be a little more difficult, or appears to be more difficult, but those checks are just going to be so worth it in a market like New York City. You'll do the exact same thing that I do here. My check is 8,000, maybe 10, maybe 12, and your check may be 47, and that's normal. So you tell me if it's worth to try to figure out the landscape there. At the end of the day, now, once you have a motivated seller and there's going to be plenty of cash buyers in the city of New York, because you're really targeting the world, because the world invests in the city of New York more so than probably any other place outside of maybe Southern California, the Bay Area, and maybe South Florida or whatever. But but anyway, but to answer the question about the virtual, any decent sized city, you're fair game, assuming you got boots on the ground to help you.
All right, this is also on Instagram. Who covers closing costs, and is it listed anywhere on the contract?
Well, yeah, normally a buyer, if you watch my video on how to fill out the contract, I explain all of that. And if you want that video and access to the contract that I've been giving away since 2008 and personally been using since 2003, just text the word contract to the 205-964-5243. But generally, your cash buyer pays closing costs, but it is negotiable. Sometimes they won't pay it all. Sometimes they won't pay any of it. So you have to make an executive decision at that point. If they say, hey, I'm only going to pay half of the closing costs, and the closing costs we'll say is just an even number, $1,000. So half of that will be $500, but you're about to make $13,000. So I'm not going to allow $500 to prevent me from making $12,500. If you didn't get that math, that's subtracting the 500 from the 13,000, that leaves 12,500. Hercules.
Okay. Claudio Holmes said, how do I price out a property that I know is going to be a tear down for a multi-condo unit?
That's a good question, man. If you have that type of insight, then I'll assume you would have some insight on what it's going to cost to produce that type of project, to complete that type of project or whatever. So I'm assuming there's a plot of land that obviously has enough for a multi-condo unit. I don't know how many units that's going to probably factor in. Then you probably want to do your research on what condo units are selling for in that area or would sell for in that area. There's just too many factors, because if you know that, then you're going to have to tap that same source to see how many units they're going to build, because that's what's going to factor on how valuable that land is or not or whatever. So,
all right. This one is from JD Green. He said, what's the best way to find cash buyers? I'm here in Birmingham as well. If you have a video on this, I'll search for it.
Probably the best way to find cash buyers is to have great deals and market those deals. That's the best way to find cash buyers, right? That's the best way. Now, if you're talking about building a cash buyers list before you have a deal, then it's pretty much all about networking or your buyer list. Like I said, I have videos already on, but I'm doing an updated video on that cash buyers list or whatever. But, you want to go to auctions. You want to, when you're driving for dollars, looking for deals, you also want to be driving, looking for rehabs that are going on. And while you want to do that, you get out, see the guys out there working. The person that may be funding that project may not be there, but the people that he's paying to do whatever work they're doing there. You want to introduce yourself, give them your information, let them know you're interested in finding or wholesaling more properties to them, and boom, normally they're going to get that money because that means more work for them. So other wholesalers are technically a cash buyer source. You can simply Google sell my house fast, buy my house fast in the name of whatever city. Those first 2 or 3 pages of results are normally going to be real players in your market, sometimes wholesalers / cash buyers or whatever, because it's very expensive to be on those top 3, bottom 3 places on Google. So those are a couple ways.
All right. Eric from Facebook said, what's up, Flipanthropist and them ladies of Flipness? Okay.
What's
Lorinda
happening?
Montgomery said, would you be able to type in the websites you're mentioning before you sign off? Yes, I will. I'll leave them in the comments for YouTube.
Which sites? Just everything I've been mentioning.
And
Dig later.
yeah.
Dig later.
Let's
Dig
see.
later.
All right. Wu-Tang 23361 said, I've heard that repair costs don't matter just as long as the deal is good.
It matters because that factors into whether the deal is good or not. You have to have an idea of that. That factors into pricing, ARV, all of it factors. It factors in.
All right, somebody on TikTok asks, what are you holding? Yeah, they just
We haven't
got
gotten, yeah, we hadn't gotten that question in a while. So
right.
we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. So those are 3 different mics that we need to be on all of those platforms at the same time. So I was holding all 3 of the mics in my hand, right? But it was causing some audio technical difficulties. So I said, we need something that I can hold to separate the mics. They didn't come up with an idea, so I went to Michael's super craft store and found this. How does the E go? This way or this way? Which way? Other way? Okay, so I found this E, and so we went to Home Depot and got some Velcro squares, stickers, and bam, here we are. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
All right, this is on Instagram. Is there an amount that you would say is a marker to determine whether to double close or assignment?
Not for me. Everybody get what they agreed upon. The seller and I agreed on this price, right? I ain't doing this free. They know I'm not doing this for free. The buyer and I agreed on this price. They know I'm in it to make money and they want me to continue to send them deals. Shouldn't matter what I make. No, it's not for me. People do it different ways. I'm just telling you from my experience. I've had some big checks or whatever from my experience. Hopefully I can get some more in the future.
All right, I think this person just joined in. They said, what is this? This is on TikTok.
Oh, okay, TikTok. What's happening TikTok? Well, what this is that what we do, what I talk about on a pretty much a daily basis, we try to do this, is about real estate investing, but a form of real estate investing called wholesaling. It's a low entry, it's an easy gate. Well, I'm not gonna say it. It's a simple, low cost gateway into being able to make money in real estate. Your cash or credit really doesn't matter. You're making money off techniques. So basically you're finding a great deal, you're placing it under contract, which all real estate transactions start that way. And you're basically selling that contract to a cash buyer, an investor that's looking for great deals. And they'll pay you 4 figures, 5 figures, sometimes even 6 figures and higher, depending on the deal and the location. And you could do that as much as you want to. So if you could get 3 deals that, we'll just even use some simple numbers, 5,000 a deal a month, would that change your situation? So if that will, then you may want to continue to listen. Plus, I give all of this information away on my YouTube channel, over 600 plus videos right now that tell you everything you need to do. So there you go.
All right, Shonda Wilburn said, hello, Flipman and the team. For commercial property like hotels, do we have to get the contact for the sellers?
Yes, that's the decision maker. Now, if it's a listed property, then you have a broker involved, and for wholesaling, it may make it a little more difficult because it's a property that's already being advertised. Ideally, you want something that's off market and you're dealing directly with the owner or whatever. So,
all right, it's your girl Angel. I'm just venting. Said, hey y'all, do yellow letters still work? I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah. Well, direct mail is what you're really talking about. Those still work. It's just a timing thing. It tends to be done the proper way, can be very expensive. I use, when I do direct mail, which is not often, we're actually doing some stuff in-house right now. But when I do some mass direct mail, I have some experts that I use out of St. Louis, my guys over at Graphic Connections. So if you're interested in speaking with them, just text me just direct mail or something like that, and postcard on it, and I'll send you their information, and they'll be happy to go into great detail on how the process works.
All right, Alan Curry said, let's partner 50-50.
Let's do it, man. I didn't even mention that. So if you have a great deal under contract that you can't find a cash buyer for, or you're unsure about that part of the process, if you have it under contract, you're dealing directly with the owner, it's a great deal and it's off market. And my definition of off market is if I Google the address, it's not advertised anywhere for sale on the internet. So you can just text me 5050 at the 205-964-5243. And we'll get you going.
All right. Michelle McDonald said, good afternoon. Good
What's
afternoon,
happening,
everyone.
Michelle?
Ms. Williams said, what do you say to sellers so that they don't feel like they were scammed when they see how much of an assignment fee you made?
Why would they feel like they're scammed? We discussed the price. We put it on the contract, and I got you what you wanted. You got what you wanted. Yeah, I'm asking the question. I'm dead serious.
Maybe.
Mics, please.
Oh, sorry. Maybe like they probably referring to like maybe when they first started talking to the seller, they wanted more, and then they talked them down, and then they got a good deal. But you still get what you.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Agreed
So
upon.
she's referring to like the deal's basically done.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
She agreed upon it.
Yeah, so sometimes I feel like, hey, I could have made more on it, but I don't feel like somebody scammed me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't feel like, have you bought something from Target and then you seen the next day it went on sale? Yeah. Did they scam you? You can't do anything about that mentality of people that think like that or whatever. You can't do anything about that. You got what you agreed upon. That's true. Nobody twisted your arm. It's called negotiations or whatever. So, you can't do anything about that. You got that mindset out there. Ain't nothing you can do about that. But you were legal and right. Ain't nobody twisted their arm or whatever. So, Right.
All right, this is on Instagram. I found a pre-foreclosure off-market multifamily building, but it's very hard to contact the owner. I've tried most sources, but the number I got is not connected, I guess.
Send them something direct mail. Send it to them. What that we using over there? Prior to flat rate?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll get one of the envelopes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't need to give my secrets away. Just send it to them.
You already said envelope.
No, I'm just tripping. I'll get it. What they call $7.95, Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this is when you're doing. You can't do. I guess it depends on your budget. You don't want to do like mass direct mail or whatever, but you're just using. They probably can't see that. So you send it this $7.95 priority mail, right? So you send them a letter like this or whatever. You get their attention. They're gonna open this. Your rate of getting your message read goes up exponentially. Now it's more expensive than a 40. Well, what's the stamp called now? Smart people out there, what does a stamp cost right now? Just one stamp. What does it cost right now? One postage stamp, just normal mail, nothing special. But yeah, send them like this. Right, so you get into this is when you're driving for dollars more. Like I say, this is $8 basically. So so you have to do your own math on what it costs you on that or what it's worth. So if you got like a list of 20, you send them all 20 like this. You start talking about 100, now you get $800 or whatever. So, but you only need one deal.
Is this correct? 55 cents?
Yeah, 55 cents. Oh, so you only need one deal though. Well, justify that 800 spent on 100 like this. Or whatever, so.
All right, what do you think about San Diego as far as the market?
Let's get it. It's great.
All right, this is on TikTok. Can I use your purchase and sales, I guess, contract to wholesale a mobile home? And if so, is the mobile home good? What?
I'm laughing at Justin. Well, yes and no. If land is included with the purchase, yeah. If not, that contract won't mean anything. It's just like selling a car. Bill of sale, they got the title, transaction. You could easily get cut out on it or whatever, unless you probably try to set up some owner finance or whatever.
All right, this is the same question we got earlier, but this is on Instagram. What do you say when a buyer says you're making too much money? Y'all want to see my head spin around.
The first thing I'm asking, does that price that we agreed upon works for you? All right. If they say yes, number one, I'm probably not going to want to deal with them first of all. But because they say that, they don't see my value. Dude, we agreed on this price. You checked it out. But once the paperwork get, like a day before the closing, they review everything. Now I'm making too much money, but you were going to make as much as you want to make on it? Huh? You got to holler at me. I don't want to deal with them. You don't see me as a value. I've just basically, money just fell out the sky because you saw my ad, I reached out to whatever the situation is. You don't get that I can probably get this. Let's use some numbers here. Say I'm gonna make $25,000 on the deal, but he's gonna make $75,000. So assuming that every time I send him a deal, he can make 75 and I make 25. Who wouldn't sign up for that? You're dealing with an idiot. Who wouldn't sign up if every time you paid me $25,000 and you made $75,000? Something wrong with me? Huh? Those are not people you want to deal with. You want people that see you as an asset, that are calling you, begging you every week, texting you, begging, what you got, what you got, what you got, what you got. Those are the type of people you want to deal with.
All right. Nicole Pauling said, hey, Flip Man, I just met with a client and they are ready to sell. I have the contract, but I'm lost from this point.
She said, hey, Flip Man, I just met with a client. They're ready to sell. I have a contract, but I'm lost at this point. Nicole Pauling? Yeah. A for effort. When I started this particular, I don't know if you were in the beginning of this. When I started this, the name of this particular daily, Flip Man Daily, Flip Time or whatever, is 3 mistakes newbies should avoid when trying to wholesale houses, right? The first mistake I think I said is that you saw one video, a few videos, and hey, I'm gonna go out there and start talking to sellers. That's really the worst thing you could do. I'm always gonna decide on doing something, but not doing something where you don't know what you're doing. Now, I'm not on you or whatever. I'm just saying, if that's your question, it easily lets me know you're really not prepared. But I'll take you through the steps, because you asked the question. But you're going to still need more detail than what I'm about to say. So, hey, Phil, I just met with a client and they are ready to sell. I have the contract, but I'm lost from this point. All right. Okay. So first, just because they want to sell doesn't make it a great deal. So you now have to determine, man, it's hot in here. You now have to determine, you have to determine if it's a,
It's 79 degrees.
you better come over here and fan me. We got the, but you first have to determine if it's a great deal or not, which I have tons of videos on explaining that. It's a simple formula. You take the ARV, which stands for after repair value, which means what would the house appraise for an extra condition, times 70% minus repair costs, and then you can somewhat play with the numbers on what you want to make, and then that gives you what your number needs to be dealing with the seller as far as a price. Now, if you go to my website, dealator.com, there's a free calculator there that will assist you. So we're just going to assume, Nicole, so assuming it is a deal. So now you need to place it on a contract. If you're not sure about how to do that, I have videos on that. If you're not sure about that video, just text me to 205-964-5243, the word contract. You're going to receive a video back, and it's going to show you how to fill out a contract for sellers and cash buyers. Also, if you don't know how, so now you have it under contract with with the seller. You can send it through DocuSign, email, or whatever. I'll show you how to do all that in the video. Assume they do it that way. So now you have something of value. So now you would market your property. Here's some of the places you will market your property. Where's my pointer? Facebook groups, Facebook Marketplace, LinkedIn groups, Craigslist, realtors, through realtors that do deal with cash buyers, maybe a hard sale. Real groups, Bandit Signs, put Bandit Signs out in there, cash for house, whatever the number is, higher than what your contract price is. Google, sell my house fast in the name of the city. Those first 2-3 pages of results are going to be actual real players in your market. So you reach out to them. Other wholesalers, you can go to auctions also and promote your property. So assuming you start to field calls, you have access to the properties vacant. They gave you a key, you put a lockbox on it. So now you get that information out to whoever calls or whatever. They call you back and say, hey, let's negotiate. So you have the house on the contract. You're just going to use some easy numbers here on the contract for $100,000, but you're marketing it at $135,000 because it's a $250,000 property, right? So we're fixed up. So you have a buyer call you back, say, hey, I can't do 135. Will you do 123? Your answer should be yes, because the difference between 123 and 100,000 is what, ladies? 23,000. Mm-hmm. Right. So, so now you place a contract with that buyer for 123. I have what I call a closing detail sheet. And what this sheet is used for, once you determine who's going to close the deal, what title company and or closing attorney, you would submit that over. And that identifies who's the seller, who's the buyer, the address, obviously, the price, who's paying what, as far as closing costs or whatever, who's spending the money to fund the deal, and then who's getting paid, which is how you get paid through your assignment fee. Have a video on that. Text me at the 205-964-5243 and the word close. That video will show you how to do that. So now, boom, set up the closing, you get paid, and that's what you do, Nicole. But I explained all of that in way much more detail than what I just did. But I think I went from A to Z on it, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. All right, this is on Instagram. What if it's abandoned? Yes, she can wholesale.
Abandoned?
Mm-hmm.
Well, vacant house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All
Those
right.
are one of the more potential easier ways to identify a potential deal is a house that appears to be vacant, right? So obviously you have to reach out to the owner, determine who the owner is and reach out to them or whatever, and they want to sell at a price that makes sense. But yes, most definitely.
All right. Someone on TikTok said, how was the casino?
Hey, wait a minute. That's somebody, how many hours? We 50, what is it, just 53? We 53 minutes in, the question finally came up. How was the casino? Let's just say this is the last live we're gonna be doing, because I'm start a part-time job here. Or they gonna send Luca Brasi at me. Y'all know who Luca Brasi is? Nope. I think I'm saying it right. Y'all don't know who it is? Anybody out there that's watching Luca Brasi? I think I'm saying it right. Who is Luca Brasi?
All right, this is on Instagram. I've been seeing a few abandoned properties and I have skip traced them, wrong number. How can I find the owners aside from skip tracing or direct mail? Because I don't have the address. In order to driving by.
Well, in order to skip trace the person, you got to have their name and mailing address. So now you can direct mail them. Maybe I'm confused on something.
Number when they,
yeah, so now you want to send them the mail. That's what I just showed you.
Okay.
Right here. Boom.
Okay, where can they get your contract?
Text the word contract to this number, 205-964-5243.
Okay, is this live recorded? Yes, it is.
Yes, you can watch the replay on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere.
Somebody said it's the hitman on The Godfather.
Yes. Godfather 1. How did you script trace them? You can't skip trade without the mailing address. That's a simple search on the county website to find that information.
All right. Where would you spend your money as a new wholesaler with minimal resources?
Define minimum.
Okay.
What's your budget?
This one says, can I learn the wholesaling business by just watching your videos for now until I can afford to pay for your course?
Yes, that's why I'm here. Yes. Many more people have learned how to do this without ever spending a dime on any of the stuff that I offer. Many more have learned how to do this.
All right. This one says, what do you mean as in a great deal? I think I have a good deal.
That's what the calculator on my site will help you see what's a great deal and what's not a great deal. If you know the ARV, you have an idea of the repairs, the calculator will do the rest. So go to dealulator.com and use the free calculator there.
All right. This one says, what's the best strategy for growing one's business?
For growing one's business, Cynthia Paul. All right. The best strategy for growing one's business, in my opinion, right, is it's simple. You got to let people know you exist. I don't care what it is. There's so many ways of doing it now. Some of them are free. Normally, those are the best ways if you can get a lot of traction, but you got to let people know you exist. So depending on what service or product you're offering will determine how to let people know it exists. Now with Facebook ads, which you can do Instagram ads, even TikTok ads now, obviously Google ads. Depending on if you have any form of a budget, you can throw some gas on that, right? To grow your business. So that's really what it's about. It's simply getting enough eyeballs to see what you offer. Now, assuming you have something that people actually want to buy, right? But we're going to just assume that. So if you want to throw some gas on your business, you want to take advantage of, which is still relatively cheap, using Facebook, not really Google more so, but TikTok, those are still relatively cheap for the number of people that visit those sites. So gotta let people know you exist.
All right. What is your personal, most consistent or reliable way that you find sellers now?
I guess would be text message. Well, text message and Facebook ads.
All right. Miss Williams said, I just need to take action, quit thinking too much.
Yeah, Miss Williams, don't.
That's called analysis paralysis.
Yeah, you're probably just afraid to make a mistake, because that's natural. But it's okay. It's okay. It's one of the great things about the business is you're not put out of business because you make a mistake in most cases, right? And that mistake that you make is a learning experience. It's because it comes from experience. It's very valuable. So just take action. Determine which method of marketing that's going to best fit your resources and your time to start generating leads, because that's really what it's just all about.
All right, Michelle McDonald said, can I do wholesaling down south, being that the state I live in, New York, is too expensive?
You can, Michelle, but understand that when you say expensive, the only reason people can afford properties in New York is because they have the money. So that's a good thing. Again, I said it earlier, you'll do the exact same thing that I do right here in the deep South, and my check may be $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, and your check is $47,000, $50,000.
Right. All right, Raphael asks, where do you submit our questions? You can really just type them in the comments here, or you can text him at 205-964-5243.
Yeah, in the comment section of any video, I answer those on a daily basis for the most part.
All right, AJ said, how can you get the name of an owner of a property if you only have the address? And he said the skip trace doesn't give the name.
Well, okay, all properties have an owner, whether it's in a business name or just a regular person's name, right? that information is held at the courthouse. Most counties have websites. Some of them are more user-friendly than others. You simply find out, even if you have to call there to ask, how can I search property info? That's it, right? And so that's a free way of doing it. So once you have the person's name and mailing address, now you can skip trace it.
All right, this is on Instagram. What should I be aware of doing business with real estate agents, or should I just leave them alone?
If you're asking that question, most definitely leave them alone, because real estate agents, all right, first of all, the property is already being advertised. So just on the surface is not a great deal. Now, it's not saying you can't negotiate it into a great deal, but you're going to have the right type of buyer, because a lot of buyers don't like to buy from wholesalers if the property is listed. Not all, but you have to have the right type of buyer. That's the first thing. The next thing, because most people, you're going to look online, just pull down the fruit and eat it. It's not that simple for most people, especially starting out. All right. The next thing is that in most cases, they're going to want at least $1,000 in earnest money deposit, right? That's probably is possibility you can lose depending on how you negotiate the agreement. All right. The next thing is they're going to want proof of funds. Now, those hurdles can be jumped over, but then, again, in the negotiation dealing with an agent can be difficult. Guess why? Because the more the house sells for, the more they make. You all are in direct competition. You're like that magnet when you turn it on the other side and they, what's the word we say? Retract from each other, or they go the opposite way. They don't stick. They go the opposite way. They want to sell it high so they can make more money. You want it at the lowest price so you can make more money. I have a video. I take you through that process. You want to go down that rabbit hole, but just you flip man, wholesaling with real estate agents. If you want to, pursue that. I'm just telling you there are easier deals out there.
All right. This is also on Instagram. How do you buy a duplex?
You have to have the money. Or set up some owner financing or some owner financing. It's not no magic wand on it. You have to either have the cash and or credit, or set up some type of owner financing where they act as the bank. I'm not sure what I can tell you special about that.
All right. Do you offer mentorship?
Yes, I do.
Someone said, thanks for the information.
Just text me on the 205-964-5243. Let you know what's the freight on that.
Someone said, thanks for the information.
Thank you for taking your time out of your busy day to join us.
All right, this is on TikTok. Tips and tricks on finding probates at the courthouse. I'm having trouble locating them. I'm in Virginia.
I got one trick for you. Text the word probate to the 205-964-5243. I uploaded a video last week that shows you how you can simply build your list for a few dollars.
All right, wholesaling in North Carolina.
Wholesaling in North Carolina, it's a go.
All right. Karonda Glover asks, should she text the number for deals because she has a couple of older mobile homes?
Yeah, you can text the number or whatever. Just with mobile homes, just understand. Just text me. We'll discuss it. Whatever.
All right. Let's see. How much is the course?
Text me. The reason I want to put prices out there, they got this thing called inflation. So if I say it's this price today, trust me, it's going up in the future.
All right. Ms. Williams said minimal $200. Maybe she's the one who asked, what should you do if you got minimal money to start?
$200, okay. You're probably going to have to use that to cold call, because that'll allow you to buy a list and skip trace a small list or whatever that you can just use your phone with. But that's a small amount to start with. It's an amount, but it's a small amount to start with. Okay. Anyway, so we've been running about an hour here, guys. I really appreciate anyone. So anything you need, you text the number to 205-964-5243. Whether you need the CRM, just text CRM. You need the contract, text contract. You want the script, text script. You want to partner with me, text 5050. Copy of the contract, text the word contract without an S. Please add R. You want the probate list, text the word probate. And I think that's
Closing details.
closing detail sheet, text the word close. And my mama say she been watching. I said, you trying to mess me up. I can't even, sometimes I can go off the deep end. She does that. Anyway, I say, Lord, why did I accept that friend request? But, what am I about to say? So yeah, so like this, share it. Everything you need to know is right there on my YouTube channel. More than 600 videos, 12 years of me spilling my guts. So you have no excuses. You have nothing to lose when the knowledge and training is free.
If you didn't get your question answered today, guys, it'll be in replay mode on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Periscope, YouTube. You can go on there and comment, and he will get to those. You can also text your question to 205-964-5243. All right.
Go old school.
Go old school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know, for old time's sake, let me find it. All right. Bye, y'all.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Yeah.